On the spread today, valuable advice on life preservation and the protection of your belongings against fires. Also between the pages, the country's historic achievements in the area of tourism. Hi, welcome to another edition of Your Jamaica magazine. I'm Sandra Clark. Stay with us, there's much to know and learn.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you could save a life when you're on the road.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, July 23. Government has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Carib Cement to dispose of over 2 million used tyres currently stored at the Riverton City disposal site. The MOU will accommodate a test run over the next 40 days. During that time, 5 truckloads of used tyres will be transported per day by the National Solid Waste Management Authority to Carib Cement. The tyres will be burnt in a kiln at a very high temperature to eliminate toxic fumes. At Monday's signing, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the arrangement would address environmental and health concerns that are raised whenever there's a fire at the Riverton disposal site, especially from tyres.
Carib Cement will be responsible for the payment of costs relating to the offloading of the tyres, and the Ministry of Local Government and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will share equally in the cost of unloading, that is, putting the tyres on the trucks and transporting them to the kiln.
Prime Minister Holness says the removal of tyres from other disposal sites is also being looked at. Meanwhile, General Manager for Carib Cement, Peter Donkersloot, says the partnership represents an example of good joint solution between the government and private sector.
After this trial period, once we move to the full project, we'll be able to eliminate all tyres in Riverton between 3 and 5 years. We are committed to the success of this project because it's good to the environment, the health and the safety of Jamaicans.
Jamaica is among several Caribbean countries slated to benefit from financial support to implement alternative energy projects. This is being done by the U.S. Department of State through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. The agency's Development Credit Authority is actively negotiating with commercial banks to finalize one or more energy sector loan guarantees that can help unlock private capital in the Caribbean energy sector. The State Department's Global Power Sector Program Manager, Faith Corneal, says over 70 projects across the region have been identified for possible technical assistance or finance. The projects were identified from an assessment of the market potential for private clean energy investment through a loan guarantee program. Assessments included projects in natural gas, renewables, storage, and efficiency in the transport and power sectors.
If we succeed in finalizing a Caribbean energy sector loan guarantee, we stand to leverage millions of dollars in not just U.S. private investment, but Caribbean private investment in a sector that is well on its way to being more energy secure and sustainable, and able to deliver reliable and affordable power for the people and businesses of Jamaica.
Ms. Corneal was addressing the recent opening of a 2-day alternative energy workshop in support of the Caribbean Energy Security Initiative. Similar workshops are to be held in St. Lucia, the Dominican Republic, and Barbados.
This conference is welcomed as it holds tremendous possibilities for Jamaica and the Caribbean region as we seek to increase our diversification efforts and explore the possibilities for greater inclusion of alternative energy in our ecosystem.
The National Water Commission, NWC, is urging consumers to brace for continued disruption to their water supply. This will include lower water pressures, adjustments in the current supply regulations, and no water in areas that are worst impacted. In a release, the NWC says its water supply systems across the island are being impacted by the ongoing drought. According to the water supply company, as at July 20, the Mona Reservoir's capacity was 33.6%, while the Hermitage Dam was 76%. The NWC says it's streamlining its water supply and trucking schedules to better respond to the affected areas. In the meantime, the Commission is urging customers to reduce their usage, identify areas where recycled water may be used, and replace faulty pipes and fittings. The Ministry of Justice will be providing 2 buses equipped with audiovisual technology to secure testimonies from witnesses in trial matters. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the buses will travel to remote areas to access these witnesses and will serve to protect them against intimidation. His message was delivered by Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Hugh Faulkner, at the opening of the 2-day Witness Care Conference on Friday.
Our goal, mission, and purpose at the Ministry of Justice is to create a first-class justice system that delivers timely justice to all, irrespective of their socio-economic circumstances. The Ministry is a significant partner in this Witness Care Conference 2019 because we know that a first-class justice system cannot exist without the proper care and protection of witnesses.
The provision of buses to capture witness testimonies falls under the Ministry's Justice Undertakings for Social Transformation JUST project. It's a $19.8 million Canadian dollar initiative funded by the Government of Canada and is being implemented by the Justice Ministry and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. The Ministries of Tourism and Agriculture are to deepen their partnership to respond to the demand for local produce by resorts and attractions. The Ministry of Tourism's 2018 demand study reveals that approximately $40 billion worth of agricultural produce are needed by the sector. This demand includes poultry, meats, seafood, vegetables, fruits, beverages, and processed foods. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says existing initiatives such as the Agri-Linkages Exchange, ALEX, will be expanded to fulfill the demands of the sector.
The study provides the Ministry with an empirical database that will allow us to effectively plan and identify demand for goods and services in the sector. The efforts that we're making are continuously about bringing more of the ordinary Jamaican into the value chain of tourism.
Mr. Bartlett was speaking on Thursday at the 5th staging of the Christmas in July trade show at Jamaica Pegasus. More than 120 entrepreneurs exhibited at the annual event, which is hosted by the Tourism Linkages Network. The trade show provided local entrepreneurs with an opportunity to pitch their products to buyers, such as corporate entities and tourism businesses seeking gifts for the upcoming Yuletide season. And finally, hundreds of Jamaican high school students will be randomly selected to sit the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, in 2021. They will join students from 87 other countries. The computer-based assessment will measure the students' performance in mathematics, creative thinking, science, and reading. The results will be compared with participating countries, giving the Education Ministry an idea of the students' ability to perform in the global space. This was revealed by National Mathematics Coordinator and member of the PISA management team, Dr. Tamika Benjamin, during a recent JI's think tank.
It's a triennial survey that is done with 15-year-old students, and it's designed to assess the extent to which these students who are near the end of their secondary education have developed the skills and the competencies that they will need to function in a global environment.
A field study will be undertaken in 2020 to pilot the exam, which will be carried out over a 6 to 8-week period in April and June 2021. And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Up next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister tours corporate area roadworks, announces that the island is almost at 44% of its 50% energy mix target, and secures extension of St. Andrew South state of emergency. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. The details next.
We cannot go into back to school period with this road work. So I am saying clearly now, NWA, China Harbour, we have to finish by the 1st of September.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's charge as he toured roadworks in the corporate area Sunday. Construction at 3 Miles, Hagley Park, Constant Spring Road and Manor Park are ongoing. While on the tour, the Prime Minister was informed that works on one of the 2 bridges at 3 Miles were completed. The other bridge is being prepared for paving, while the approaches to the bridges are being readied. Works are also progressing along Constant Spring and Manor Park. Mr. Holness says the roadworks will lead to greater integration and interconnectivity within the island's economy and industries.
An entire market force has now been unleashed by the development of this, and you're going to see the transformation happen. Very soon, you're going to see people making greater investments in their property to expand them, to improve them, and you're going to see new industries taking a keener look at Jamaica. So these kinds of infrastructure will actually improve Jamaica's attractiveness as a place for doing business.
The Prime Minister also got a first-hand look at new water mains and telecommunications lines being installed along the roadways.
But what we're doing is being proactive. We're laying the pipes around the bridge so that when we get to lay those pipes, which I announced in Parliament a few months ago, which will be started either late this year or early next year, we won't have to interrupt again the works here or dig up the road again.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the island is closer to meeting its target of supplying 50% of its energy with renewables by 2030. He made the pronouncement Friday as he commissioned New Fortress Energy's liquefied natural gas floating storage and regasification terminal off the coast of Old Harbour. The first of its kind in the Caribbean, the $1 billion floating storage will supply 190 megawatts of low-cost, environmentally friendly fuel to several facilities through its pipeline. Facilities to be supplied include the soon-to-be-completed Jamaica Public Service Old Harbour Power Plant, Jamaica Alumina Refinery, the UWI Mona Campus, Caribbean Broilers and Appleton.
We are demonstrating that we can put in place the necessary investment, build the infrastructure that both reduces the cost to the consumer, but also, most important, reduces the cost to the environment. And I think this is a very good example of that. It's a win-win for all of us.
Back in Kingston Friday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness witnessed a demonstration of the power of compressed natural gas CNG. Mr. Holness rode on a CNG-powered Jamaica Urban Transit Company bus from his office to the Terranova All-Suite Hotel. The bus is part of a 6-month pilot project to supply 5 of its buses with CNG. In Parliament Tuesday, the Prime Minister made a case for an extension of the state of emergency in South St. Andrew, saying the special security measure has been effective in curtailing crime. According to Mr. Holness, communities that have benefited from states of emergency have seen up to 26 fewer murders. He also used recent statistics which show that the island's murder rate was at 726, more than half of the 1,287 murders committed in 2018.
If we continue to use this strategy in a selective way, give ourselves 5 to 7 years, and we can bring our murder rate down to 16 per 100,000 or 500. And then after that, you would be in a position, we would then, Mr. Speaker, be in a position to now use conventional methods to maintain that and reduce crime fully.
44 of the 63 members of Parliament voted to extend the St. Andrew South state of emergency until October 5. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister visited students of the Special Needs Department at Liberty Academy. He told school administrators that the Ministry of Education was very sensitive to the needs of children who learn differently. Mr. Holness said the ministry has engaged government and private institutions to accommodate children with special learning needs. Mr. Holness added that the Education Ministry was actively building out centres across the island, to include one at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education in Portland to serve children with special needs.
Government is very sensitive towards special needs education and towards providing the service. We acknowledge that we are not at the service level that we should be, but we are going to be increasing our budget. Indeed, this year we have increased the budget significantly for special needs education.
Word came Saturday that Kenya's president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, would be the island's special guest as the nation celebrates its 57th anniversary of independence. In a news release, the Office of the Prime Minister said President Kenyatta's state visit will be used to strengthen bilateral relations between Jamaica and Kenya. Attention would be paid to trade and investment, as well as tourism, education, sport, and culture. The President's itinerary includes a wreath laying at the shrine of national hero Marcus Garvey, courtesy calls on the Governor General and the Leader of the Opposition, a tour of Denby with Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and witnessing Grand Gala celebrations at the National Stadium. Mr. Kenyatta's 3-day visit to the island will start on August 5. On Saturday night, the Prime Minister was in the second city to support the greatest reggae show on earth, Sumfest.
I've never seen this level of crowd, but the atmosphere is also great. And when you're getting the stats on the views from what is being live streamed and broadcast on other media, it's clear that this festival, this music festival celebrating reggae, has been taken to another level.
Earlier in the day in Kingston, Mr. Holness paid his final respects to former Chief of State Protocol, Ambassador Eleanor Felix. Ambassador Felix died on July 7, 8 days shy of her 71st birthday. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us again next time for more news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Inform yourself about the HTLV1 infection. HTLV1 means human T-cell lymphotropic virus type 1. It's not the AIDS virus, but they are contracted in a similar fashion. You can get the virus from having unprotected sexual intercourse, getting blood that has the virus in it, breastfeeding, and sharing injection needles with HTLV1 infected persons. These are a few of the signs and symptoms of the virus: skin rashes, swollen lymph nodes, backaches, difficulty in passing urine, sensation in the feet, weakness in the legs, and reduced sex drive. If you have any of these signs or symptoms, you should see a doctor. For further information, please contact the HTLV Project, Department of Pathology at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Kingston 7 at 977-1958 or 927-1620-9.
Since January, at least 3 children have died in fires. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is on a drive to ensure that this sad situation does not recur. Up next, fire prevention tips that must be practiced at home.
Fire! Fire! My bed, my clothes.
Same script, different day. What's worse, sometimes a human being, even a child, dies in these unfortunate situations. The loss of lives and valuables as a result of fires is impacting those who remain behind. The mental effort to get up from the ashes. Taxpayers too are being burnt, as more dollars are being shelled out for fire emergency operations. Homeowners must implement fire safety plans.
It's important for us to fireproof our homes because we have our families and we normally have strict guidelines as to how you operate within the home, or you store your chemicals as it relates to your kitchen, how you manage your heat sources, how you handle your plugs. So the safety measures that you take as it relates to the protection of your children.
Here are a few situations you must avoid to prevent losing your home to fire. Finally home from a tired day at work. The first thing many people do is get something to eat. Now, this is when a fire safety sin is usually committed: having a cigarette while tired, or the stove is left on. What else at home are you not doing safely? Like this, using a computer or mobile phone on the bed. So they should not be used on flammable surfaces such as beds or sofas.
Leaving your cell phones on your bed can trigger the ignition temperatures of that spread or sheet and can actually cause a flame. So we encourage you not to leave your cell phones unattended. It's an active source of heat and worse when it is charging. It has caused many house fires based on our statistics.
Between 2010 and so far in 2019, 100 children were burnt to death. One of the main causes of these deadly fires, a child left unattended with burning candles.
Based on investigation from fires, we find that most of the times it's because we leave our children unattended, right? So we leave them with the matches, we leave them with the candles, we leave them with the lighters, and we leave them with maybe a laptop or an iPod, something to keep their attention, but they are fascinated by flame.
Here are some other factors found by the brigade to be the major causes of fires within the home. Clothes put to dry at the back of the refrigerator, storing plastics on cooking gas cylinders.
We identify this as a fire hazard because if you notice, it is pretty much close to the source of heat, which would have been the stove itself. All right? So we can have a spark from this. The Jamaica Fire Brigade encourages that cylinders over 30 pounds should be stored outside. So here we have two heat sources, a microwave and a toaster oven. All right? Plus, there is a charger plugged directly between both sources of heat. What we encourage is that there should be sufficient space to allow for air to pass through. In the bathrooms, the heat sources, for example, your blow dryer, you leave those on running while you do other stuff, while you wash your face, something. But leaving them near your towels and your other materials that can burn, your clothes, that can spark flames.
As for power strips, they should not be overloaded.
So we also encourage that if you're using extension cords, do not run them behind furniture, do not run them under the carpet, because the constant pressure on the cords themselves will cause breakage. Again, if it is near a combustible material, it can cause a fire.
It is crucial that these fire safety measures are adhered to. Every home should have a fire safety plan that is known by each member of the household. Lastly, but very important, keep the numbers of the nearest fire station saved in your telephone contacts.
The general public can make a request for us to come inside the homes, check where you should have a smoke detector, check where an extinguisher should be, because you should have these in your homes as well.
Are you a small to medium-sized tourism enterprise? Borrow up to $25 million at an interest rate of 5%. You can use the funding to develop and maintain your infrastructure, upgrade or increase your capacity, enhance and expand your attraction, tour or event, and purchase raw material. Call the Exim Bank and ask about the Tourism SMTE loan. Their numbers are 876-630-1400 or 876-618-5889. Tap into the over $3 billion earned yearly through tourism with a SMTE loan. Jamaica is on track to welcome more than 4.5 million visitors in a single year. In 2018, 4.3 million vacationed on the island. The increase in tourist arrivals in 2019 is expected to be achieved, as within the first 5 months, more than 2 million already came to our shores. Watch this.
As of the end of May this year, we've only managed to bring 2 million visitors to Jamaica. And that is the first time in the history of Jamaica that within the first 5 months of the year, we've brought 2 million visitors to Jamaica.
The United States is consistently Jamaica's #1 tourism market, with over 2.6 million visitors from across the United States making their destination of choice year after year. This year so far, we have grown the United States market by 20.1%.
We only
we earn a little over 1.7 billion US dollars. We've managed to increase retention from 30 cents to 40.8. This represents for us the new drive that Jamaica is now involved in. Not just about bringing numbers, but also to add value to the experience of the visitors who come here. We are moving very seriously about retaining more of the Jamaican dollar and the US dollar in particular in Jamaica. When the supplies that the tourism consumes are brought and bought and produced by the Jamaicans, then the dollar remains here.
We are in line with the projections that we've made to earn $5 billion from tourism within the period that we've indicated. We can say categorically that there is more than $1 billion US dollars in circulation across Jamaica coming directly from tourism. And the impact of this is seen in the growth of the small and medium enterprises across Jamaica. Last year, 2018, at the end of December, we completed 4.31 million visitors for that period. That, of course, represents the second year in a row that Jamaica has had 4.3 plus million visitors in a single year.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water circle in open container. For them to read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Slap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, if you burn mosquito and run with dengue. If pain lick your head and your joints and your eye, and you want fever meat and your temperature high, it could be dengue, don't hesitate. See a doctor, don't self-medicate. For some painkiller can make you bleed and you will try to recover and don't succeed. We no want pop down and fenke. We fi burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
Hi, this is Makeda. Welcome to my Love for Jamaica vlog. Follow me around Jamaica as I show you some amazing sights.
The magazine closes for today, but please visit our social media pages. We're just a click away. You may also download our app to be notified of our latest stories and features. Don't forget to give us a like or leave a comment on our pages. Until next time, I'm Sandra Clark. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.